Hello everyone, this is Rex Red. I am back. It says we have an excellent connection. Let's hope we do. Let's hope we do. Oh yes, we're going to get right into our topic today, Gobo lighting. And if you don't know what Gobo lighting is, you're probably part of probably 80% of the world that has never even heard this term before. If you're familiar with Gobo lighting, you may learn some tips about Gobo lighting because I have kind of played around with it a lot. But if you think of like your spotlight being here, okay? Well, a Gobo is a plane that goes in between your spotlight and your subject. And what you can do is with that Gobo, it's a plane actually, that has a transparency on it. And that transparency allows the light to shine through onto your subject, and it creates a pattern in the room. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to play around with this whole Gobo thing, okay? So I think what would be kind of nice is to get some kind of scene. I'm just thinking, would this be better in a black room, in a white room? And there's the idea of multiple Gobo lights. And multiple Gobo lights are when you have different, oh my gosh, look how clear this is really, really nice. I do need to probably look and see. I don't think my stream has looked this clear like in a long time. I do think that maybe my face is washed out, but I'm not sure. I can't really tell. So, all right. So what we're going to do is let's go into environments and let's see if we can find some kind of environment to use the Gobo light in. I think this would be an interesting environment to kind of play with. This Portico, this one, I think this looks good. We'll see. Okay. And do I have a bunch? Okay, I don't see any cameras. Okay, so what happens when I come up above here? What's this? Okay, this is it. Okay, so we come up and up and up, and what does this do? Okay, so it kind of gives us this really cool. Now, how far can we go up? All right, I'd say about like this. And so what if we were to shine a Gobo light down into here? We're going to use this for an effect. So now we create a new spotlight. Now you can show options, apply viewport transform. Let's see, accept. And yeah, so, but the spotlight, we got to select the spotlight. And I would think that we would bring the spotlight up a little more. All right, so what we're going to do now is go to the perspective view, and we'll bring it down in a bit more. And then we'll create a camera. And we'll copy the perspective view with the camera. Now, we can go, we're in our perspective view. Okay, the camera, we'll go and look through the camera for just one moment, and we'll lock the camera so we don't accidentally move it. Okay, so this is going to be our scene. Our sight is going to come in through here. There's going to be these steps and all going around. And, okay. So what we do is we go now back to our perspective view, and we turn sideways, and we find our, okay, well, we click on this, our spotlight, and there's our spotlight. And it's pointing down into this kind of stairwell object. So what we're going to do now is create a plane. Okay. And we take the plane and we bring the plane up, 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 like this. And I think I grabbed the wrong handle, Z. We want the green one. There we go. So we bring this plane up and then we scale it. We look at it from the side like this. And we want to scale it in. Parameters, scale it like this. Okay. Now, it does, I believe, matter how many divisions are in your plane, because we're going to put, if your plane doesn't have very many divisions, I don't know that it can accept a pattern on the plane that's going to be very busy. I'm not absolutely certain about that, but so this is something to consider. And this is our camera, okay. And this is our, okay, so if we look from the top down, and it looks like our camera and our, they seem to be in alignment now. So what we do is we select this plane now and we go into our shaders, presets, surfaces. We click on surfaces for the plane. Then we first go to the editor, make sure the plane is selected. And then we go into default here and we click on shaders. And there's something you have probably noticed a lot, that you have a lot of, if you have a lot of Daz models and things like this, is that when you go through your shaders, there are things that are, I forget what they're called until we get to them, but they are called, we'll find a few here in a moment. They have a unique name. And what they are is like lace patterns. They're like grids and crisscrosses and kind of cube patterns and things that are. We'll find once we find one. Okay, I'll be able to tell you what they are. I've just forgotten the name of them. Shader. They're not patterns. They're welcome. I don't know if I have my chat turned on. Let me see. Make sure we have the chat turned on. So I think we have I fixed my stream. It should be sharper looking now, people. It's very important to me that you all have the best experience that you can with my videos. So I think everything should look sharper and the colors might be more vibrant. Things should look better. Okay, it looks, we're gonna find some here. These are shaders, but they're what the heck have I done? Okay, they're shaders. Okay, utility stone, skin, plastic, octane, Iray. They are called. They're not emissives, bone, brick, crystal. Now I don't see any of them. Plain. I don't see a single one. Okay, so let's go into Iray and see if they're here. Effects. Okay. I've got to remember what their name is now. Let's just type in lace. We'll find it that way. Shader. Here we go. Now they're just called shaders, I guess. But as you can see, these have like little patterns in them, okay? Let's try this one here. So we'll put this lace pattern on the plane. Okay, now what we have to do in our scene, and hopefully this is actually pointing, it doesn't look like it's actually pointing on the lace, so let's go like this. So that's, oops, like this maybe. Okay, and we'll go from this angle. Make sure that this here is in the center, like that. And now, as you know, you can tile these. So we're going to make this, scale this plane in a little more. Okay, and what we should probably do is link the plane and the cat, put them in a group. So we're going to go this, we're going to Gobo and Spotlight. Okay. So they are together, so we can move them together, which we're not going to move them because they're right where we kind of want them right now, for now. Okay, so what we have to do is go to our environment here, and we have to turn off our environment so we have only our scene here. And then we can take this spotlight and add a bunch of light to it. And lumens 9. Okay, how about we go with another 9? And notice what's happening here. Now, when we look through our camera, look at that cool effect. Okay, so this is the effect. This is a Gobo effect, okay? And there are probably other names for it. This is the term that's bandied about in Daz Studio, that it is the Gobo effect. Now, what we could do is this, it's not doing what I kind of was thinking it would do, but let's now go back into our shade surfaces, and all we have to do is switch the, okay, we got to go back to here. Plane. Okay, why didn't that work? Let's go to lace. Hello, plane. Plane. Editor. Plane. Now, somewhere in here on this plane, you would think, okay, there it is. So what you can do is you can see the black. This is a black and white image. And I believe it's also done here. No. The emission color. Okay. So this is a black and white image. Now why didn't that just switch? Okay, so we go back to surfaces, currently used, okay, preset, let's try this one. Okay, that worked. Okay, so now as you can see, as we go through these different, now I'll think of the name of this, they're not shaders, there's a different name for them. It's not shaders. Here are some lace fabrics again. Here we go. And look how cool this is. They're all different. And so what then you can do is go into the surfaces and you can Let's find maybe a paisley one. Well, it's hard to tell. So what we do is we go into the editor and we go down into this horizontal tiles, and let's go 4, and we'll go into vertical tiles and we'll go 4. And as you can see, now this is exactly what it really looks like. Okay, this is projecting this pattern into this 3D stairwell. Okay, so now what we could do is, and what's kind of interesting is then you say, how do we get color? Okay, well, we have, this is a spotlight. Okay, so if we click the spotlight and go into our parameters, and we go here to color, we could just change it to say red. And it's going to change. Now we look into our camera, and it's changing. Okay, let's make this our screen render settings. Let's go to editing, general. Let's make this square, like our camera square, so that we can see the whole, so it's filling the whole screen. We don't have those bands distracting us. Okay, so these little fish scales and all of those, I believe those are also part, like this is a lace within a lace. Okay, so we go back to our plane now, and we go into our presets, surfaces, presets, and we have more here, these lace. There's a different, word for them. We'll find out. Now here we have other lace patterns. So it's like you can buy these patterns. What they do is they get imposed upon textures. So they lay this, like this could be like gold. Now the plane itself, okay, what it's doing is it's allowing a noose. Yes, we are working with Gobos. And so what we've done here is we go into our perspective view, and what we have here is, as you can see, it's our spotlight here, okay? And our spotlight is shining through a plane, okay? But on the plane, we've put these little patterns that you've seen in your shader list. Is you have all of these. You should have at least a few of them, and they're overlays. Okay, that's what these are called. They're called overlays. Okay, and so they lay over a texture and give it like, so you could make this overlay like all gold, and then the fabric underneath comes through, and so it's like a gold paisley pattern over top of something, and that's what these are called. They're called overlays. So you can go into the Daz store and just look for overlays. Now, I believe that this lace here, it says ultraviolet lace. Some of them may not work because they are not actually. Okay, we go to editor and play. We don't have this selected. Okay. They're not working. That's not doing anything. Okay, so these are called overlays. So this will work though. Now you see this is kind of like a little square pattern. This is checkerboard. So it gives you the ability to project. Okay, and it's to project into your scene these overlays as Gobo textures. And it's really easy to set up. You just, as you can see, I just took a plane and I put it in front of my, it doesn't matter the distance really, because it's going to work to some degree. And if it's not fine enough for giving you the right kind of texture on your scene, then you just make it finer. You go into your editor and you make it have less. So we'd go to like 2 and 2. And then we go back to our presets and let's see what we can find here. Okay, editor. I think it's in this default one that you have to be selected on. Yeah. Lace here. And so, I will look through my camera now. And as you can see, this creates this beautiful, I forget what this pattern is called. There's a beautiful pattern here. So we are working with Angus. It's a good kind of virus that, fixes your DNA, I guess. Now, see, this isn't working here. It's not working. Maybe we need to have the plane selected as well. Okay, it's not switching these particular lace pieces. Oh, that one worked. Okay, so these are called overlays. Now look at this. This is so amazing. Now these ones don't work, but as I get down into these, down in here, they work. So yeah, well, it's good to have you here, Angus. It is. Oh, now look at this. This is very interesting too. So this is the way to kind of color a room. So now if we take our perspective view and we go down into this room, what's interesting is that this will all see, it's all projected, okay? And so if you, like, as you can see, the stairwell breaks the projection. And it's very interesting to kind of experiment with this whole kind of gobo thing. It works really well in like nightclub scenes and stuff like that. It just, it's a very interesting way of projecting things into the room. Now, if you have a character descending the stairs, it's going to project onto them. Okay? Because it's all accurate physics. And so there is that whole concept of this. And this is how it projects. So let's take this Portico out of the scene. Okay, and we'll go back to our camera view. And I don't believe we have a plane in the scene. So we're going to find another scene that we can use. Oh, this hallway. Let's try this. See what happens. Okay, now we got to go into our perspective view. Now this hallway, what we would have to do now is move our spotlight down into this. Now I think we have to get inside of here. And look at this. This is kind of cool. How this works. We go back. Okay, so I think we have to go this way and look. Okay, so we have these cameras. Let's see about looking through camera 2. Okay, that kind of works. So we'll use camera 2. Well, what's camera 3 look like? Okay, camera 4, camera 5. All right, what's camera? We'll go with camera 5, and we'll just hide these other cameras so they're not in our way. And then what we will do is go to, we have this camera here. I don't know how that got dragged up there, but I somehow put that in there. Okay. So camera 5 is our main camera. That looks cool. So what we're going to do is now go out of here to perspective view, zoom up. Okay, so we're looking for our Gobo and spotlight. We're going to zoom in on that. Okay, and then where is... That's the Gobo and spotlight, and they've got to come down and go into. So let's go back now down into here and see. Now, okay, now we have this projecting inside here. Let's go down. And now we take this Gobo and we turn it. I don't know how this is going to work, okay, or if it's going to work at all. Okay, so we turn that towards that. We zoom back out this way. And then we take the Gobo. Now, if I look through my camera, this was camera 5. Okay, see, I'm not seeing any of this pattern on the walls because this room has so many lights in it, walls, doors. Okay, so what I would have to do is select all these. Oh, tri lights. There we go. All right, now we're seeing a little bit of this pattern here. There are some other lights here. We go to surfaces, editor, ceiling. Okay, ceiling, LED. I guess this would be one here, so we could turn this down, the luminance down to 0. Okay, and we have ceiling floor LEDs. Are there LEDs here? Okay, we got wall, door. Okay, this would be, okay, wall. There's another one there. And so we turn the lumens down. Emission color. Okay, why is this? We'll go to the cutout opacity and turn that off. Oh, that didn't do anything. This one's not even turned on. Okay, so we go to wall here. This one's probably turned on. Yeah, this one here is. So we turn the emission lumens down to 0. Okay, now we have control of the light here, of the pattern that's being sent here. Now what's happening here, I believe it may have turned back my environment on, turned it back on. So we go to parameters, dome and scene. We go scene only. Okay, there we go. Now we have control of the light. And so this pattern that's being projected in here is from our Gobo, okay? Now, let's just throw a character in the scene so we can see that this light, okay, it looks like my camera froze. All right, let's see if we can fix this. Let's bring a figure in here now and see how that this is going to change the figure's textures, because they're going to get projected on. And what it looks like is you're in this red room with this red kind of pattern on the wall, but when we put a figure into the room, let's use Arno, a Genesis 9 figure, and they should appear about in the middle here of the, I think that's the center of the room. That may be this, I don't think it is actually. This is the center of the cube. Yes, it does. It looks like wallpaper, but this is where it's going to get very interesting, because when we bring the character in here, they're going to create a shadow and block the Gobi light. And they're going to also get projected on. Do you see that? See how interesting that is? Now, if we take this and turn it, you see the shadow that they're creating? So, yeah, it's an interesting technique. Now, we'll talk a little bit about light characteristics, okay? Now, we have it's a hard shadow, okay? Now, if I go to our spotlight and we go to the parameters in the spotlight and we mess with the width, see this width and height? Okay, what will happen is the shadows will get softer, and that's not what we want. In order for this Gobo to work, we need the shadows to be hard. Okay, so now let's bring this, we're at 10. Let's go to 200, and we're going to see our Gobo shadows should just kind of disappear. Or they've gotten I would think they would. Let's go to 500. Okay. Oh, we have to set this to, let's try a rectangle. Okay. See, our shadows disappeared. Now, if we just go to like 50, see, notice his shadow disappeared as well. There's no shadow from him behind, and we go to 50 here. Now we've got a softer shadow, okay? And if we go to like 1 and 1, then we have pretty much like the hardest shadow that we can get. But it still did something with our Gobo where it's not working right. So if we set this back to reset value, which is at 10 and 10. Oh, and then we have to go and set this back to a point. You see? So I just thought I would kind of yeah, well, it's the effect, but if you think about if you use a Gobo that has like window blind effect, and so you put what we can do now that we have this set up, then we can go into this plane, and we can change. Yeah, it is very sci-fi. Yeah, it does give you, it's also very abstract. It's kind of like cubism and modern art kind of thing. It's projecting this image onto him, and it's also yes, well, it's bigger than maybe the elevator in your building. So okay, let's see now. So we go to our plane, and then we go back here to presets, and we can just change now. Oh, we have to find one that works. Now talk about claustrophobic. Isn't that a cool effect? So it allows you to just really kind of mess with these. I don't know that these work. Now, these are called overlays. Oh, look at this. These are also overlays. Oh, Habib, welcome. Welcome, welcome. It's nice to have you here. We are working with these overlays, and what we've done is put these over... Look at that. That's just so strange. It's just amazing how this works. And it's an optical illusion because at first you don't really see the person, but then you see this kind of shadow. So we are working with what this is it's a spotlight with a plane in front of it, and then we're using these overlays as surfaces on the plane. Okay, so what's kind of nice is I'm using this as an effect, but if you where you would want to, where it would be kind of interesting is where you take a window, okay? And this is the same idea where the window has blinds in it. Well, you don't have to actually have blinds in the window. You just put a plane in front of the window, and then you find an overlay. Let's type in overlay, and okay, now these are all overlays. And that didn't work. It just changed it to like black. So, oh, that's weird. So, and you have also disable overlay, embossed or perforated overlay, because they can sometimes they can linger and you can't seem to get rid of them, kind of thing. Overlay pattern, what is this? See, some of them don't work. These are stars overlay. No, these don't work. So, overlay, let's see if some of these, no. So you have to just find the ones that work. Shader. Okay, these don't work. Charlie Brown. Okay, here's one. This is a scallop pattern. This should work. Oh no, it's this is an actual. Oh, that says how much strength. So now it's going in and changing the strength and the scale. You have to look at, some of them aren't actual overlays. Look at this pattern. Oh, this changes the size again. These are like overlay size kind of things. Okay, here we have a pattern, overlay pattern. Here, this is a pattern. Now we've got a problem with our overlay. And sometimes you have to reset it. Let's see if we can find one of these overlays that actually work. Oh, I get it. That is the Charlie Brown pattern. So let's go back to lace. So we type in lace and we'll find some of these lace patterns. They seem to always work to kind of clear it out. And now we go overlay. Overlay. And we go down through here into see if we can get some of these to work, some of these cool ones. Now, all right, see these overlay patterns? These are very important ones because these will give you that window blind effect in your room. Well, if they work, Z. Undo it if it doesn't work. And, oh, look at this. Oh, that doesn't work. Now, there may be a way to go in and edit the pattern. Overlay. That didn't work either. Yeah, that's the undo is a big friend when you're working with this particular kind of thing. I really appreciate you telling me about the color problems, Art. That was very, very helpful. Very helpful indeed. Sometimes they just don't do anything. And sometimes they overlay. Okay, that worked. This one says overlay. Were they the same? Yeah, so those don't work. These ones seem to be working. You can't tell what they are until you put them on. But these are really interesting. So you'll find a bunch of these overlays, and we're going to go back to white here, the color. Now look at this. See, this is kind of interesting. It's a little less maddening, kind of. But what's interesting is that you get this really cool effect. Now we go back to our plane. Now I'm going to just show you real quick the perspective view, and we'll look at this is our plane, and we have this plane here in front of our spotlight. It's that simple. And then what you do, and it really doesn't matter a lot about how far the plane is apart from the spotlight. And the thing is that what we can do is take this Gobo and spotlight, okay? And I can go and edit, duplicate, all right? And edit, duplicate. So now we have 3 of them. And we go here down to this Gobo and spotlight, and we can move one over here and kind of turn it a little bit, point it in. And then we have this one over here. We could move this kind of up and over. Oop. If you thought it couldn't get any more maddening than it is, you're wrong. Okay, so we can turn this one this way, I guess. Like that. And then we can also kind of dip it down a little bit. And move it up a little more. See, I have them both selected and they're both in a group. That's how I can move them together. And then what we can do is we can take this particular, the light that goes with this set, the spotlight, and we can make it like blue, maybe a light blue or something. I don't know, maybe a little more blue. And then we can take this spotlight here and maybe make it yellow or something. Like a kind of yellow, maybe a light yellow. Maybe so we have some color. Some yellow here. And then we can take these Gobo planes and go into our surfaces, make sure we have them selected. And then we can just put a different pattern on them. Let's go to lace. That seemed to find more when I go lace. And now you can make your own, as long as they're black and white, a black and white image, you can make your own pattern. Okay. So let's see what happens. Okay, that just changed one. And then we go to this other plane, go into the editor, plane 3, and let's go with this one. Now you see we have a different pattern here. Now we can go back to our camera 5. And as you can see, we have different colored with different patterns all kind of coming in together. I think that the more extreme colors, like the primary colors, may be a little bit more, but it's maddening. But the thing is that it gives you an idea of how these work. Now, what I've tried to do is now what you can do, okay, is let's simplify this again. And now we just have this one gobo here. And what we do is we go back to our perspective view, look at the gobo here. And then what we do is we take and duplicate our plane. Okay, edit, duplicate. All right, so now we have two planes. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll put this in behind here. And then we can take this plane here that's in behind here. We could spin it, we could change it, we could and the reason why we would copy these is so that you can change the color of the light for each gobo projection. But what we're going to do now is go into here, into our surfaces. Oops, let's go back here. Go to surfaces, and then go to our, and then let's find a, oh, this says pattern. Now pattern may be what we need. This could bring us into a lot of different patterns. I'm not sure what these are. Okay, but let's try one of these shaders here. And we're going to put this on. Okay, I think we have to go back to the editor and select the plane. Okay, and then we put this on here. Now, I may have to go back. It put it on there. Okay, but what we have is, okay, I think it did it. Now, but what we have here also is it's blocking the light from going through. But if we go now here to our surface editor, we go to the opacity, cut out opacity. Now what I want to do is go to my camera 5. Now everything's black because that's blocking the spotlight. But if I bring this opacity down a little bit, see, it's not really working kind of like the way I thought it would, because what you would hope it would be that it would transfer its color through the light. But what you can do is then go here, perspective view, and we can take this, make sure we have this plane selected, parameter. Okay, plane. We go to surfaces, and we go to editor. Make sure that you have your plane selected, and we go stained. And it should find us some stained glass perspectives here. Okay, here, let's try this one on here. Now let's go to our camera view. Camera 5. Now you see what this is doing. This is giving, now I can go through here and now play with these stained glass textures, MDL. Some of them work, some of them don't. But look at this cool kind of kaleidoscope of color that we have now. And you can go into the surface and go to your editor and change the horizontal tiles to maybe 4 and 4 here. So it's just, I mean, this looks terrible, but what it does is it gives you ideas, okay, of what you can do. Okay, I'm reading your so yes, so now we have this. Now we could turn the other plane off and just see what this is what our stained glass Gobo is giving us. Okay, so you can put this in a window and just have your HDRI shine through, but if you put this in front of a spotlight, this is what you're going to get. And it doesn't work with all stained glass, as you can see. It doesn't always work with all of them, but it does give us kind of this interesting effect. So, yeah. Now let's go back to our other plane and let's mess with this stained glass a little bit more. So these are called, you just look up stained and you'll find these. So these ones don't seem to work. Let's go back to our editor and make sure we have our plane selected. Some of them don't work. That one doesn't do anything. Why? I don't know. Now this plane, let's unparent the plane and then drag it up. Oh, okay. I think I'm using the plane that's actually turned off. Let's try the plane that's actually. Okay, so I was, oh, well, you still have to go here and select the plane. Okay, they should all work. Yeah, they do. They just work differently. Now look at this. This is cool. So, wow. So, if you're in like, this hippie, if you're making a hippie scene and you want the room to look all cool and everything, this is where this kind of thing comes in, is where you can, and this black stained glass, okay, these set how fine they are, but you can do that manually also. This is very groovy. Look at that cool thing here. So now also, if you think about canvases where you could take and create this backdrop like this, a backdrop, and render the canvas, and then you could put your character in front of this. So it's kind of interesting that whole perspective as well. So just keep that in mind when you're doing these things. Now we go here to editor and we can change this, maybe bring it down. How about if we go 0.5? Look at this. So this is interesting. And the vertical tile, 0.5. Well, that's not quite as nice. You just have to mess with this, and suddenly you end up with something really kind of interesting that just then sort of works. And is he even standing on the ground? Let's find out. Let's take our hallway vignette and bring it up. Yeah, he is standing on the ground. And we take and turn this a little bit. And let's put some... So this is interesting. So let's take the hallway vignette out. Let's find another... Yeah! So, environments. Let's find another environment, and let's take out these other cameras. We'll just keep the camera that we're currently using here. We'll leave the both planes, so we have a Gobo and we have the stained glass. The stained glass is kind of like a Gobo. I just wanted you to kind of think about that. You can put a plane that is a gradient color, okay, that is semi-transparent. That is what these stained glass planes are. And so what they're giving you is they're enabling you to create a gradient with your spotlight, because your spotlight, I don't believe you can take your spotlight and put an image on the plane in your spotlight. Let's take a look at this. Go to parameters. And when we switch this spotlight to geometry, let's go disk. Okay, see it says what I'm not seeing here. Shadow type none. Deep shadow map, okay? What I don't see is the ability to click here and load an image. And so that is on this rectangular. But what you can do is you can take, and this is where it gets kind of complicated, all right? But this plane here, you can take the plane. Let's take this plane here that we have. Let's put him in some kind of white room. We had a perfect white room here, but let's find some other kind of room here. Okay, dolly zoom equals background zoom out, and the character zooms in. Now, I think what you're referring to, Habib, is with the camera, the width kind of effect. Yeah, so that when you change the focal, the frame width, or it's one of these, that the background gets closer and further away. Yeah, that's an effect, and I don't use that effect very often, and the reason why is I like my characters like with my particular phone right now. One problem with my phone being, it's about maybe 2 or 3 feet away, is it makes my head kind of look squished, because that's the way these cameras are kind of set up. And if you take a camera farther away and then you move in, then it makes your head kind of look like it really looks in reality. So yeah, but it's very interesting. It's important that you brought that up, because the camera, how the camera responds to the Gobo has a lot to do with the camera settings. Not the camera, excuse me, the spotlight. And a lot of these spotlight aspects that we're working with here have to they have to do also with frame width. And I would assume that some of the same characteristics are associated with changing the frame and of your spotlight. So I'm not sure that a lot of that goes like way over my head. But what you're saying is very true, and it's something that needs to be included in this whole discussion and study. That's what we're doing. We're studying it together and putting all of our information together so that we can make a really nice, comprehensive kind of viewpoint on Gobos and how putting a plane in front of a spotlight and what you can do with those kinds of things. This marquee party is kind of interesting too, but I think I just want to get a plain old kind of room, just a room, and then we'll maybe a whitish room, sort of. And then we'll work on. Because the thing is that when you put a plane in front of a spotlight, your spotlight is limited because because the spotlight only has one color, and then if you take a plane and you make that plane into an emissive and you put a color, an image on that plane, you have to make that so tiny, so that image so tiny that it's like the point of the spotlight, but it's projecting out very condensed color pattern. So that is, there was an abandoned warehouse up here. I think that was the best thing that I've seen so far. Thank you for doing this. It's like it says storage interior. Let's try this. Merge this into the scene. Thank you, Art. Because it doesn't matter what we use, just as long as we have something. I think I'm going to get rid of these boxes and all this, just so we have the bane, the palettes and the boxes. And all right, this kind of works. I guess it's just as good as the other thing that we had. It just gives us something different. I'm going to get rid of these cameras. And if I have to put, okay, so we still have our camera 5. Let's just name that camera for now, okay? And now we have all these lights in the room. So we have to, ceiling, I think they're on the ceiling. We have to turn them off. Light bulb. 0. Well, that did it. And now we have to make sure that our Gobo, let's go to perspective view, and okay, our Gobo isn't inside of the room. So we got to bring this in enough. Okay, so that it's inside the room. Now let's go back to our camera, and there we go. All right, see how easy that is? So now we have a different something different. So it's not, so we're not just kind of, so now what I'd like to do what we're going to do now is we're going to take this spotlight, and now I have two planes here. We have this other plane. Look what that funky plane does. What that does is it puts a okay, now I changed my spotlight. I think I put in my spotlight. See, I've done this before, but I did it alone, I worked like an entire 8-hour all night, one night, messing with spotlights and gobos so that I could, because what I first found out was that there are products you can buy, okay? So if you go into your light sets, and also you'll find some in, and you just type, I think, Gobo, and notice, okay, these are Gobo. See, I didn't make up the word Gobo. And if you go into these Gobo lights, you can buy them. It's just type in the word Gobo, and you'll find them. And they're not only under Gobos. Some people use their own kind of words instead of Gobo. Not everybody uses that word, okay? But you can just put these whole light sets in, and they do all kinds of funky things, like give you the window blind look and all of that. And there are also Gobo lights in the light set that's called Render Studio 2. You don't want to buy Render Studio 1, you want to buy Render Studio 2. And that comes with not only a really cool fog and atmospheric effect, but it also comes with Gobo lights. And they are very nice Gobo lights, okay? So Render Studio also comes with Gobo lights, but you can purchase these. But I thought that I would show you that all you really need to make your Gobo lights is a spotlight and a plane. And the reason why the spotlight works is because the spotlight comes from a point. And if you take that point away and you make the point bigger so that it's emanating, you'll lose your Gobo effect, because only a point can create hard shadows. Like a large light can't create, they create soft shadows, and so you're going to lose your Gobo effect. And I believe that's what's happened here, because I think I went into the parameters and I switched this to a rectangle. Now watch what happens when we go back to the point. Now these are shadows. This is a hard shadow right here that is being caused by this particular by the spotlight having a point. Okay, now how far can we push this though? Because you see, the thing about a spotlight is when you click on this color thing in the spotlight, and I really wish that you could change this, but all you get is one color for your spotlight. You don't get, and unless you use a gel, okay? And the gel, and that's why we're playing with this plane idea, okay? Is the plane gives us, it is giving us different colors, but it's got this black. These are, since it's stained glass, so the idea would be to take this plane here and try and figure out why this plane, we go to the surface. Why does this plane, okay, so we go to this top coat weight, and what if we turn this off? Okay, that didn't work. Top coat weight, so what if we just go none? And it's got to be in here as, okay, metal flakes weight, let's go none here. Okay, Z, we need that. Okay, so base bump, let's go none here. See, this is creating, these are creating a glossy reflectivity, refraction. This is the glossy color. Okay, metallicity, what happens when we turn this off? None. The idea is to get rid of these lines and figure out how to just put like a color map in here. And so then we can turn back on our lacy pattern. Now we've turned the plane off, and you see this lacy pattern. What we have here, let's go back to our lacy pattern. That's just the lacy pattern and not stained glass. So we go to lace, and we'll go down here to the lacy pattern and find the lace pattern, something that's kind of basic. Oh, we have to select this, plane 2, okay? So it's a black and white kind of lace pattern, okay? So this is a projection, but the only way to change the color, you get one color choice, okay? And that one color, and the reason why you want to do this is because your VDBs, okay? Your VDBs have like another limitation where they only accept one color. Well, what if you want to have smoke that's all, well, then you got to put all these little kind of spotlights inside and light it all up, and it takes like forever. What if you could just put a plane in there that's an emissive, that's emitting, an invisible plane that's emitting color, you know, around in the VDB. Or if you just project like a color like this onto the VDB. And let's do that. Let's put a VDB in this. You can see I have thought this stuff out. I have put so much thought into getting and into Gobo lights and into using them to in ways that I don't think most people even think about. And so not only have I played around with the Gobo lights and learned how to make them, you know, from scratch by just using a spotlight, I spent hours and hours and hours putting like planes in front of the plane and then emitting light out of the plane and just sitting there wondering what happened to my pattern. It's gone now. And that's because, and I was thinking it had to be, yes, these are very deep thoughts. It has to do with the way shadows are made. Hard shadows are made from a point. Like if you have an HDRI in your scene, okay? If you have a big sun in your scene, on the HDRI, on the physical image, and you have a gigantic sun, it's going to create soft shadows. Okay, but if you have, and it works, this really works. And if you have this blue sky with this pin point of a sun, and there's just one little spot that's white as can be, then that's going to create hard shadows in your scene. Okay, and it took me forever. So you just if you have an HDRI and you love the HDRI, but you're getting hard shadows, well, what you do is you take that HDRI into Photoshop. In Photoshop, you can load an HDRI into Photoshop. You can edit the HDRI, and then you can just make the sun bigger, and then save it as HDRI edit with the word edit after it or something, and then load it in your Daz scene, and there's your soft shadows because the sun is bigger in the sky. And that's the same way. That's why we have a hard shadow with him. That's why we have a hard shadow with our Gobo, is because the light coming from the spotlight is a pin point. Okay? And so that is how that works. And so the options now, as we go into smart content, we go out of this Gobo thing because we're working kind of from scratch. And it's kind of the best way to work with Gobos is to learn how to make them yourselves. Learn how to put the lacy pattern or whatever pattern. And as you can see, these surfaces images, they're just black and white images. Actually, if we go and look at this plane here, that plane 2 is the black and white image. Okay, if we look at this surface here in the editor, you'll see that this pattern is actually, it's just a black and white image. It's a flat, squared, black and white image. Okay, and we can go in here and take a look at it, at the image, browse. Lovely lace and net. And we'll just open some of these up. They're all black and white. There's no color in these particular images. So the black part is going to be the see-through part. No, the black part, I've forgotten now. I think the black part is the translucency part, and the white part is, I might have it backwards now. So if we click open, yeah, so this is what we have here. I think the black part is a transparency part, and the white part is what blocks it, but I'm not sure. I've forgotten. My brain has forgotten. So let's see. Yeah, well, there again, that is another whole kind. You can buy a disco ball in the Daz store. So, and it would, the thing about a disco ball is not self-illuminating. A disco ball requires lights to shine because it's a mirror ball. It's got little squared mirrors on it. And so in order for it to have an effect, you have to shine lights at it in order for it to have an effect. So just keep that in mind. And you are exactly right to bring up that kind of stuff, because it all has to do with reflectiveness, transparencies, and that's what a disco ball is. It's this massive reflecting orb, okay? And it's all very tied in together. So what we'll do now is so as you can see, this is a projection, okay? And it's very wonderful projection. It is projecting these hard shadows coming out through this lacy pattern. And so the only way to add color to this would be to go to your spotlight, and you have the choice of one color. So you go to the parameters, you go to your spotlight, and there's color, and there's no place to put a map here. So all you can do is just change the color, and you got orange. And like I said, if you want like 3 colors, then you take this whole Gobo, you copy it, the Gobo and the plane, and you could theoretically just like keep them overlaid, but that would just change the hue. It would just like mix the colors together. So what you do is you then put a different pattern on and you project that, and then you change the color of the second Gobo, and you have to do it artfully. I mean, it's like what I'm doing here, this is a mess. I mean, this looks horrible. Okay, but we're studying, and as you look and see, and I put my mouse over it, it becomes evident that we're not looking through a mesh. This mesh is being projected onto the walls in this scene and onto the figure and part of this shadow. It's a very complex thing what we're seeing right here. It's a beautiful thing that we're seeing, but the problem lies in how do you get more than how do you get gradient color, okay? How do you make this color go from like deep blue at the top down to, because all we have right now is one color, we can change it to green, okay? And we can change it to, you know, purple. And believe me, I've spent entire nights trying to figure this out. And what you need is a gradient gel, okay, for the light. And so you can keep the color white. And then you need to put a gradient gel in front of your plane, and then it will project through that pattern and create the. But how do you make, like, because it's going to be very difficult. I tried this with the other plane, okay? So what we'll do is we'll go to Google and we'll search for vibrant water color background. All right, so let's pick one of these. One that hopefully doesn't have words in it. We need enough color so that images, so that we can see them differentiated. This looks like that's Adobe stocks. That's licensable. I don't want to buy it. Okay, what we'll do is we'll go to Photoshop and we'll get AI to make it for us. So we're not imposing on anybody's copyright. And so let's try this. We'll go here with our Copilot. I've been using this. Let's see. Copilot. 4K water. Vibrant. No, okay, well, these are Pexel, it says it's Pixabay. Pixabay is free. Let's try this one. I wanted them to kind of make it for me, but, and I have an account with Pixabay. So I think I can just come in here. Okay, this isn't what I wanted. I didn't want to have to go and search for this. Let's go here to New File. And we'll go to 3840 by 2160, which is our 4K. Select all. Generative fill. Okay, vibrant. Vibrant patchwork of watercolors. Let's try that. See what we can find here. What it'll make us. This is like a one of a kind thing. It's you know, cubism. So, but it's going to be like a All right, what I don't want some vibrant. Okay, I think this will work because we can just isolate an area. Okay, so file. All right, now what? All right, now if we want. All right, let's just try this first. We'll save a copy. And we'll save this at here. Vibrant watercolor. All right. Okay, I always type that up there, and I want to type it here. X. Here, we'll save it as a PNG, so it's a high bit rate. Large file, which keeps the bit rate at the highest. Okay, this is going to be a huge. All right. Now we go here to our. Oh, I said vibrant. Let's try vibrant. See what happened. It did understand, even though I spelled it wrong. The AI is like probably these stupid humans don't even know how to spell. That's a pretty one too. This one's really nice. I'm thinking about, I'm missing what I'm trying to do. Probably like kaleidoscope. Yeah. Yeah, the lava lamp, very interesting. Okay, so we'll go, we'll save this one also, vibrant. So just so we have a backup, vibrant. We'll call this vibrant. We'll call it vibrant. Well, vibrant watercolor 1. All right, just so we have because these have some nice blues and yellows and oranges. It just reds. They just have kind of everything I want in this. Now I could go and edit that also. All right, so let's take plane number 2, which is the one that's not being used. Surface, plane, base color, browse, vibrant. Vibrant. Let's go with this one. It has more colors in it. Okay, watercolor. Now we're going to take and turn these off. None. And we have to turn this on. And we have to turn these off. None. Refraction. None. Metallicity. None. None. Okay, I have a feeling this is going to block everything. Cut out opacity. Okay, we bring that. So what? Now we have to find what makes this like glass. Turn these off. Translucency weight. Okay, now the problem with this, I think, is now I'm seeing a little bit of color here. Let's turn our other one off. And this is our plane, okay, with the base color. All right, so All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take this plain color and we're going to just put a glass on it, like some kind of glass color. So we'll go here to glass. I think it would be in here. Glass, glass. And let it set the glass up for us. This pink glass, I guess, would be work. And we should be seeing some pink here, but no, that doesn't seem to be working. Now our spotlight should be hitting this glass and creating now see I'm seeing a little bit of pink, but so all right, but what we want is it's called thin. There's two things with glass. One is thin glass, and then the other is solid glass. And you have to differentiate between thin glass and solid glass. So when you go through all these, you pick them and then you have to. You see, like some of these are going to say, and I think it's called maybe thin-walled. Yeah, thin-walled glass. And solid, okay, solid, glass solid. So that's the big thing with working with glass, is realizing that some glass is solid and some of it is thin. And you can't always just pick a glass, because it's like for a window, if you want to use a window or use something for glass to go through, fantasy heavy. All right, these aren't working. So what I'm going to do is just go into my whole shaders thing and then just type glass. That'll give us like everything. Fuzzy air bubble, okay, here. Clear glass. And just because it says clear glass doesn't mean that it's not, that it's thin. That it's thin-walled. Okay, this looks like it's kind of, because it's not, it's obviously not thick glass, because if it was thick glass, it would be distorted, okay? So this, even though it is a plane, it would still be distorted. It's just the way thick glass is. And I think that has to do with the refraction, or maybe it's the refraction parameter. Okay, so we go into surfaces. Now we go back to the editor. And now we should be able, this glossy color, maybe we can take our image here now, which was vibrant. What was it called? Vibrant. Vibrant color. Let's try it here. Whoa. Okay, now this is actually, so this is what we needed. This is actually a projection of color, okay, from a spotlight. And it's using that hard shadow, because you can see he's kind of like cow colored. So we did it. All right, so now when we bring in, now if we come in here and we load a VDB into the room, it's going to project color onto the VDB. And we're going to use my real fog here, props. And let's do, so we have like spindly fog. There. Now the VDB has, All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this room. Yeah, see, it's working. And so we have projected, so we have a gel light. And so you make that gel light by using, so what we're going to do is take this out, look at what it's doing to our VDB now. Okay? And there's our light. So so what you do, okay, is you take these, and what you have is your spotlight, and what you do is you use a ghost spotlight and a ghost plane. Okay, and we have ghost planes, so we're not done. Okay, but all right, now what you do is also you take this environment here, and let's go to backdrop, and we'll make it black. See what happens here. Okay, look at how it's colored our VDB. So suddenly we have like colored smoke. Okay? And the thing is that it's projected. So you have to remember that if you want to project, you have to project it onto the thing that you want colored. And so you've got to make everything invisible. So let's start first. Now the plane is going to be the hard part. And Daz Studio has this built into it. Why am I getting it's because the plane is, so there's a way to make, now this is the most beautiful projection that I've ever seen onto a VDB. But the thing is you don't want the projection on your figure. And so how do you fix that? And the way you do it is you put little projections into the scene that are invisible, and you just kind of focus them onto the VDBs in the way that you want them focused. And so, but this is the most amazing. Let's try taking this VDB and switching it out with a different one. Let's try the poof. Where's the poof? Here's the poof. Wow, look at this. So this is amazing. Okay, we're using our camera. Let's zoom in ahead of our wow, look at this. So now we can take this poof and go to the surfaces of the poof and just bring the density down a little to like 1 maybe. Here we go. So you see, and this is, it's like, why? Probably the next update to VDBs that Daz will do will be multicolored VDBs. Because right now we have for VDBs, we turn this VDB off here. I don't understand everything about VDBs, the current state of our VDBs. We turn this poof off, And it didn't turn off. Why aren't you turning off? Okay, we got to go to texture shaded. And then when we go back, it should be gone. Okay, so our VDB is off. And now we're projecting these watercolors onto our figure. I mean, what would be nice is to just be able to say, don't, you know, to be able, I think you could do that with 3D Light, where you could say, this object should not be affected by this light. But Iray is physics-based rendering, which they for the most part try to say, because it's physics-based, it has to follow the laws of physics, that everything in the room is going to be affected pretty much by the light in the room. And that's why it's physics-based rather than, like, I don't know, it would be just like non-physics, fake physics, you know? So that's why you can't just say, well, this light is only going to affect, and then there used to be, I think in 3D Light, where you could go into the surfaces or parameters and say, have this affect only this object, like where you have collision based, where it only collides with the floor or it only collides with the surface of your figure, where you can have a drop down. It'd be nice to be able to say, this light only affects this geometry in the scene, but it's not there. There's no way of blocking this from that. So we get this. So it would be nice to be able to say, this projection affects everything except the figure in the scene. And the thing is it wouldn't look right, because the projection would be too, it would just look fake. It would look like the person is disconnected from the scene. Now, there's a way to go into this spotlight and go to the parameters, and we could take our point here and turn it into a disk, and then make the disk really small, okay, so that it's like a point. Like, go to 2 and go to 2, so that we change the amount of hard shadows and hard lighting that we have here. This is amazing. This is just amazing how this works. I love working with lights and with the Gobos. I just love working and trying to, like, solve the VDB problem of giving the VDB different light. Now you can solve it by multiple VDBs, by just saying, okay, we're going to mix a bunch of VDBs together. Like, take this poof here, and we turn it off. For some reason, it doesn't, maybe it's got to refresh, and for some reason, okay, it doesn't refresh. So, but we turn that off. Let's just get rid of the poof, and we'll go back to the VDBs, and we put this fog spindly in, and then we put another fog spindly in, and we put another in, and then we go here to, they don't show up in, and we go to the surfaces. Okay, we'll rotate this. We'll rotate this fog spindly like this, and we'll rotate this fog spindly like that. So they're in different places. And then we go to surfaces, which we'd have to open them up like this. This one, okay, we'll make red. And this one right here, we'll make green. And this one right here, we'll make blue. Okay, let's see what we've got. And look what we have. And then, and what we don't have, okay, now we turn off the plane. And what we don't have is, we don't have this projection on our figure. And what the reason why it got brighter is because my spotlight is no longer being hindered by the plane, and so it's just shooting a brighter light. So we go in here, and this is probably the best way to do this, to get your VDBs to have color like that, is to just mix them, put them in and give each one a different color. And then and now let's go to our parameters for our spotlight, and it's down here, and we'll just lower. Okay, we can give it back to a point and see what happens. And then we go also to our lumens and bring this down to like 3 or something. No, let's go up to 9. 9. Oh, it needs more than that. So let's go to 4. And that's too much. Let's go to 2. All right. So now we bring, what we do is we just bring, let's just look at what we have here. So now these are independently colored, okay? And this is a beautiful effect right here. It's just using multiple, and then so what we do is we take and group them all like this. Group, VDB, all. And then we can move them around and kind of like so that they're not just blocking our character. And zoom in on our character a little bit. Move them around so that they're and now his skin looks like mine. Just kidding. So this is pretty good here. And we can bring it up just enough so that it starts to kind of cover in front of him. So he's in the midst of it all. So, and then you can mess with the density, and you can mess with all these different parameters. And what's nice is he's not being projected upon. And he's, but what we are getting is this hard shadow. You notice it's putting this hard shadow on the VDB. Well, the way you fix that is you just go into your spotlight and you switch this back. Thank you, Art. Thank you very much. We switch this back to a disc. I appreciate the compliment. And then we take these diameter and we just go like to maybe 20. And we go the width, 20. If it's not enough, we'll go higher. And yeah, it was still getting a hard shadow here. Notice this. Okay, let's go here. Notice that's hard shadow. What do okay, I don't think we need the deep shadow map, but we go now to this disk and we go to 50. We go 50. And it's still hard, so we go to 150. And we go to 150. And now that it's much softer, just less obtrusive. So now let's put some clothes on him. And we'll go out of Iray. So we've... and let's see. Wardrobe. Gentleman's outfit. Oh, I just put it on the spotlight. I don't think that was a good idea. No. And then we'll put some hair. Some funky hair. Something here. Hair will go short. This will work. It often does. What did I didn't have him picked again? Oh, for Genesis 8? Okay, so we're going to pick Genesis 8. And we'll go base body tight. Bodysuit tight. See what we've got here. So this is probably the solution to getting multicolored VDBs, is to just put multiple VDBs into the scene and give them each a different color, and then move them so that they're juxtaposed to one another. And then you've got the scene that you need. And let's see about a nice pose. We'll get a Genesis 9 pose, something that's easy. Poses. And we're going to turn on filter by context. And we'll get some standing for him. Here we go. There it is. And then we're going to take his face down a little bit. Parameters. We'll just dial his head down a little bit. Okay. Or no. Oh, that's the HD part. Where's the head itself? Or no. Okay, we'll bring it about to there. Okay, we're going to bring it down like this. And then I'm going to find, let's see, Bruce. Let's use Bruce's head, some of his head. I love having my Genesis 8 figures that I can just dial up their head a little bit. Come on. Bruce. Okay. There we go. And now we go here to Iray. See what we've got. And I thought I had a disco ball. Been kind of interesting to. All right, spotlight. All right, we're going to put. Now, I'm going to mention something about linear point lights, okay? I believe that the linear point light has been updated, okay? Because the we have the point light and we have the linear point light, okay? And the thing about the linear point light is the linear point light has like a fall off or something. And years ago, I asked about the linear point light in the forums, and they said it was a holdover from the 3-to-light days, and that the linear point light and the point light are just the same, and they don't have, in Iray, they don't have any differentiating characteristics. I believe that has been changed, and the only reason why is because if you click on the linear point light and you go into, maybe it's surfaces, or no, there's no surfaces. Display, let's see. There's a way that it just starts to put off a luminance. Let's go to 3. It puts off a kind of it has it fall off to it that the regular light I don't believe has. So there is a difference now in the way they work compared to the way they used to work too. Okay, that's bright. Okay, so linear point light. And so let's see, render temperature, intensity, point. Okay, now let's just bring this down. We don't need it that high, so we'll go 0 and maybe a little bit more. 1. And let's get in a little closer to our character. Front. Go straight on. See, I wish I had a mirror ball because I'd put it in his hand. And there is a mirror ball on the Daz store. Okay, now we can take these VDB alls and we'll just push this back a little bit. And so look at that. Look at the color now we have here. Let's take this linear point light and just give it a tiny, take down a little bit of its temperature. I'm thinking that I'd like to keep the temperature up, but make his skin. Let's hide the so it's not in our face here. Visible in viewport. Turn that off. Okay. Now Yeah, and that's what I just looked. I looked in my files. It's called mirror. Let's try mirror. Mirror ball. Let's see this if we can find. Yeah, it is there. You are right. There is a mirror ball in assets. Okay, I think I had it filter by context. It might be 2 words. And we're going to have every kind of mirror. Let's just try ball. I'm more likely to find it there. Oh, then we're going to have Christmas balls. And crystal balls. I wish, like the Daz search, where you could put like parentheses in it and say, I want, mirror ball, and not just ball, everything that's ball and everything that's mirror, that you could do a search for just mirror ball. And put quotes on it. If you go alphabetically, it's called stage props. Oh, okay. Products. Let's try the stage. Let's try stage here. Yeah. Now, props is going to come up with everything in the world. Oh, those string lights are strong. Where did I just put them? Z. Okay, let's try this. Maybe these ones. Z. Well, maybe these are nice, but we just got to take and turn them down. Surfaces. Group. Oh, we got the one string light. We got a bunch of instances. If we turn one down, we'll turn them all down. Okay, string light, light. And we go here to luminance, and let's go to and what we do is do. You like that? Yeah. Oops, Z. We got to get the whole group here. What we do is this, and then we do rotate. That. this. Why do they disappear like that? All right, scale. You like the suit with the sunglasses in his pocket? All right, we're having too much fun here. Scale these up a little bit like this. And then we go Y translate, see if we can get them hanging here. Okay, what we do is we fix the rotate again. Z, and rotate Z, 0. Okay, now let's see if we can Y rotate them like this. And Y scale. Y translate. Let's see what this does. Looks like. I thought it would make them oblong. Yeah, yes, I'll be here. I'll be here. Okay. I thought it would make them oblong, but they look okay. And we go here to, I think they're still too bright. Yeah, that works. Okay, I go up and then over and yeah, okay. Now we go back to the string light. We go to surfaces. We can bring this down to luminance, down to 50. And then you say, well, I wish the string lights were all multicolored. And then how do we do that? Well, you have to take and duplicate them and then give them, and then have them come in as multicolored. I think I'm going to make them a little bit yellow. See, that didn't change the color. That didn't change there. Because that's the emission color. We have to change the temperature. There we go. And, you know, I don't think he's... Okay, we're going to save this. Where did Art go? All right, we're going to call this Disco Man. Disco Man. All right. We need a floor, okay? It doesn't matter, it's just as long as it's a plane or anything down on the floor. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these planes, these... Okay, why is it taking a long time to save it? There is a lot in the scene, but... Okay, that wasn't too long. All right. We'll get rid of these planes, the Gobo planes. Okay, and we're going to put a plane here so he's not like floating in the air. Plane. Let's just put the plane in for now. Okay, accept. So we're without. Okay, Y translate. Which one would bring this down? Okay, we're gonna just work with. Okay, I can't see it now. We have to turn. Okay, let's go back to here, and maybe I can do this in Iray. I have these VDBs. I think if I turn them off, and then we go here, there we can see it now. Y translate. No, that's the VDBs. We don't want to turn that. The plane. Y translate on the plane. Z, what happened here? Plane. I thought I selected it. Y translate the plane here. Okay, I think that's good. Now we're going to put a black surface on here. Okay, surface. Parameters, black. And black. All right, let's see what this looks like now. Now that he's not like floating in the air. Okay, now we can put our VDB back on. And he's actually standing on the floor. Now his skin is too blue. Okay, he needs a little bit of color in his skin. So I'm going to go out of here. We'll go so we can kind of move around a little bit. Surfaces, editor, Arno, here, skin. Okay, and we go up here, and we're going to go translucency. It's too blue, so we just take some of the blue out. Let's see what we got. And obviously it's too green because when you take the blue out, it's really green. It's kind of yellow. All right. Now I think I'm going to take a little bit of more of Arno's face out, currently used. Currently used. Oh, we got to go to parameters. Arno's head. I think what we're going to do, go here, 0, 9. We're going to look for, we're going to give him a Genesis 8 head. So we're going to go and because I think the more you take Arno's head out, the more he becomes kind of that zygote kind of male. Would be male. Genesis 8 male head. A lot of people don't realize this is here. But you can give your Genesis 9 figure a male head. the Genesis 8 male head. What else is here? Yeah, see, that's looking a little better. Now let's, okay, I'm going to lock my camera. I think you hit on the keyword we're looking for here. All right, so we go to here. Most used, lock the camera. Okay, the camera is locked. Well, those lights really go bright when I move the... Okay, now the lights here, the string lights, let's move them up a little bit more, just because I'm seeing them. They're not connected here a little bit. We're just going to translate them a little higher. There we go. And what I'm looking for is some of those like light bulb stage lights, those kind of bulbs that have the little filament in them. Some of the little light bulbs, and we could put a string of them in front here. So we go to, so I think we find them if maybe we type stage. Maybe we'll find them. Control alternate minus. Now I just put a minus there. We just, okay, stage. Stage. Props. Those are materials. Okay, that's a vertical grid. I could turn it sideways. No, it's not giving me them. String lights. Tube light. What's this? Perspective. Holy. Z. Okay, what we do, lighting truss. Are these all part of this group? Okay. Which way is he? Parameters 90, 90, 180, and we'll go, we don't need to worry about the Y translate right now. Okay, Okay, these little planes are our VDBs. Okay, I'm going to scale this all. Light. Okay. Scale it all down. Z X. Is that going to work? Maybe if we bring them down a little more. Now, okay, I see. It's going through the VDB. These are the VDBs, but that's not the floor. That's why we still see it. We have to turn off the VDBs to find the floor. Z. X. And let's try to turn the VDB back on. Go back to Iray. Iray. Here we go. Well, that looks kind of cool. Let's see now. Let's turn this off again. Let's rotate it so it looks, oops, Z, not the VDBs. This, Y rotate so that it looks even with our floor here. Okay. Oh, we got to turn the VDBs back on. Okay, now I think my camera's my spotlight. Do I still have a spotlight? Oh, it's the linear point light. That's what it is. What happens if we've turned this off? He's going to get just really dark. Maybe everything else will light him up. Okay, I think I got rid of the, okay, the Gobo. We do have a spotlight in the scene. Okay, I think I have to do something more with the spotlight. Okay, I'm gonna. I kind of like the way this is, so I'm gonna save this right now before I move these lights around, because I think my. Excuse me, I gotta itch my back. I think my the VDBs are very volatile. I move the light and they kind of just disappear, and they do. They're so I could move the light and just throw the scene completely off and then lose it. And so it's probably a good idea to save the scene. Now we have a environment backdrop here in the scene. So, okay, now let's see, look through our spotlight. It's like all kind of twisted and it's just kind of strange now. Let's see what's going on with our spotlight. Why is it like this? Front. Okay, we're going to select Arno and point the spotlight at him. Front. Oh, what's wrong here? Point at Arno. What's wrong here? Oh, that's the bottom. Front. Okay, we're spotlight here. Okay. Now the trick with the spotlight is you have to come straight at them. I know when you use the spotlight, you think, oh, I want to get dramatic, and if you want to get dramatic and you only want to light one side of their face, then you got to be careful of their nose shadow, because their nose shadow will like make a hole in their face. So you have to make sure you completely cut the one side so it's the nose shadow. There again, having hard shadows is something you have to set. So, but if you just want it to light it, and kind of the easiest way to light it, then just make sure you come straight at them so that they don't have black spots for eyes, because if you want to say, oh, I want to come from above, and then their eyes develop these kind of shadows and you can't see their eyes at all. And so you have to kind of be practical with lighting and saying, if you want to light their face and light the scene, kind of, you got to come at them straight on, sort of, in a way. And so you don't have this big nose shadow, and you want to be artistic, and when you do that, you kind of can end up with some really odd things. But sometimes you move the camera at just the right angle off from the side, and suddenly your scene comes alive. So, it's just, you have to watch where the shadows are and make sure that if you have hard shadows, then use a ghost light that's not a dot, but it's actually a plane or a curve or a sphere, but it's not a dot coming from a point. Now we go back to the camera. Let's see what this light does, just kind of coming at a logical angle into the scene with the spotlight. Okay, I think I'm going to turn the point light back on. And just because it did something really nice with the VDBs, but I think it's just a little too strong. So we'll just bring it down a little bit. Now we talk a little bit. I was going to make this video all about like brightness and how to fix brightness in your figures. Okay, so we still have some problems. Okay, this linear light is just too bright, so we'll take take it down. We'll just take these, that 1, 5 there, put 2 zeros there. We'll take this 1 and put this as like an 8. See what happens. Okay, it's not quite as lit up now, bright. So I'm thinking that this image is kind of done. I think I'm going to move the lights back a little bit more so that they're not interrupting with his feet. So I didn't destroy the scene moving the light, so it's just kind of a good thing. Yeah, that's better. It's not. Okay, I'm thinking this is. I'd like to put something in his hand, but I don't know what to put there. I thought the mirror ball would be really nice, but we're having trouble finding a mirror ball. Let's go to Daz. Maybe I didn't buy it. I know there was like a dorm room or something scene with a mirror ball. And I can find one on Renderosity. I think there was a dorm room. Okay, we're going to turn, make sure, okay, hide items I own. With that there, that's not on. So there were page 2. Oh, there were mirror ball. There was also disco ball. It could be called a disco ball. Let's try disco. Stage props, okay. Thank you for that. And then we got these stage Gobo lights pop up. They know what we're doing. So let's go to stage props. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's $2 for this. And let's see. Okay, I'm seeing some kind of thing. Oh, there it is. And oh, we got to buy it. It's down. It's 86% off. And it's all. Is this Iray? It's Iray. All right. We're going to have a mirror ball. Okay, so let's add this to cart. Okay, I've got to go. And I got to turn off my screen. So, yesterday there was an update to, or I think it was yesterday, Daz got updated. We got a new Daz Studio. If you haven't opened your install manager yesterday or the day before, there's a new Daz Studio. It's not a new number, and they didn't change the splash screen when Daz opens, but there's a new Daz. So I thought I would mention that. It takes a long time for the install manager to go through and find all 10,000. I think I'm up to like almost 10,700 items. Assets. Different assets that I bought. And now we have stage props. So a disco ball. Our Bruce is going to have a disco ball. I don't know that it's going to look right in his hand. I'm going to make it kind of small. So I was thinking about like putting the earth there, like Atlas held up the earth, but it just, no, it didn't. And then I thought, well, what about a Christmas ball or something? Well, that's kind of holiday-ish, and it kind of might kind of fit in. It'd be better than the earth, but no, the Christmas ball didn't. So I didn't even mention it because both the ideas were like, I was thinking about them, but like, what are we going to put in his hand? So we can come in here and look and see how Bruce looks. Now, you see, putting that Genesis 8 skeletal shape on his face made his geometry in his face kind of look right. So just keep that in mind, that there's that when you select your, if you're going to use morphs from Genesis 8, you may want to put that base Genesis 8 structure to the face so that the morphs come out right. And that's how I do it, and I don't know if it's right or not, but I get good results. Like this kind of looks like Bruce now, and it didn't look right before. So, they've already got an update for the Revolution Omni and the Killer Assassin outfit for Genesis 8 and 8.1 females. What would I do without that update? I would be in a mess. So, now the Revlon Omni Shader presets for strand-based hairs. That is a new product. We need to play around. I'm probably going to make an entire tutorial on just these Omni Shader presets for strand-based hairs. So I bet they work for other kinds of hair too, but I'm not sure. But this would be very interesting to try that out, because I do have it now. Okay, so we're going to start the queue. And we are going to now have stage props. Now, what was I doing? We're going to find the mirror ball. We have stage props now. Files, stage, products, stage. Should be at the top here. Stage props, yes. We may have to turn off the little wire for the mirror ball. Oh, we have this multicolored floor. Where did the mirror ball go? Did I put it? Is in Arnold here? Arnold. Okay, let's Control Alternate minus is my key. Let's try this again. There it is. Let's hope it's a nice one. Mirror ball. We're going to have to resize it. Oh, it does have a... We'll just turn that off. See, I knew that if I put it in his hand, it was going to, like, block his face. So I just figured I would resize it down so that it's small enough so that you get the idea that it's a mirror ball. Okay. Wow, he's right in the middle. What time does the club open? Well, as soon as the band has set up. I love Bruce. Bruce is one of my favorite characters. Lopacity, that's the name of the band. We're going to have to make sure that this is in his hand properly. Where's his thumb? Okay. Okay, we go back to our camera. Now we got to turn the string off on the mirror ball, which would be in surfaces, mirror, rope, I guess it's called. And we go to our cutout opacity and the rope is gone. Okay, let's see what he looks like with the mirror ball. Yes, I see what you mean. Yeah. We got rid of the wire cord rope. There it is. It's kind of hard to tell it's a mirror ball, but it's okay. It's gonna work. Yes. The braided wire. I think wire would be probably... I think you had it right with wire. It should be wire, the thingy. So, I think it's kind of hard to tell it's a mirror ball, but I guess that's going to be... I'm not going to make it any larger, or else it's going to obscure his visage. I like the way his hair is it looks kind of like that 20s style hair. It's like kind of curly on the front. He just really fits this well. So, I think he's kind of leaning back a little weird. Let's put the mirror ball with him. And I think if I move his chest a little bit, I don't think it will stick with him unless I put the mirror ball on in his hand. Bend. Yeah, I just think he's bent back too far. Okay. And I think he's over too far too. We can take these lights, the trash rod here. Move it over a little more. Like this. Okay, just a little bit more centered. Save this. See if it will let me save it. Okay. And this is called Disco Man. We gotta have like, I never knew love like this before. Since you opened up your door. Yeah, we gotta have some music for this. I guess that's going to do it. Let's see about getting our render settings here. Render settings. It let us save it. We're at 4,000. We go to progressive render. I was supposed to work on music today. But I thought about my awesome subscribers and my Daz subscribers, and I thought I've got to do something today with them and with y'all. So here we go. So we're ready. We're going to save it again. Save it again. Yep. I've been in a disco before. Yep. Like me. Oh, that's cool. You think I look like Bruce? Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of got my eyes a little bit when I do that kind of thing. All right. What do we got here? Let's I like that I fixed him so he didn't look. I kind of wish he had a little chain. I know I could get him a little chain. A little pocket watch chain or something, but we're going to leave it at this. He doesn't look like he's wearing socks. Kind of, but we're going to leave it there. He's got his disco shoes on, though. So, all right. We're going to hit render. Render, people. I think if, with the scene being called Disco Man, that it kind of gives you the impression that maybe that's a disco ball. So, Yup. So I get, one thing that happens to me when I make a scene like this is I get accustomed to my character's looks. It's like that thing, like the looks that only a mother could love, Well, I get overly accustomed to the way they look over the course of making the scene. And you really have, in order to make a good scene, you have to, once you're finished, you have to put it down for a while. And then you come back, a day later, and you look at it then. And you'll just say, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much I gushed over this character and how awesome they were. And when you see them, in a day later, it's just that's when you realize I have to do more with them. I have to give them more. That's when you'll notice that they need more imperfections in their skin, and that maybe there's a certain way they're standing or something like that just isn't. That's when you realize those final touches that you have to make your character look. Yeah, that's sometimes it. It's just like a goatee or something that they need. This guy, I almost always give them. Oh, you're saying about how he looks like me. Oh, that's funny. I wish I looked that good. So, yeah, that's funny. So this is rendering quite quickly. Let's see how our VDBs are reticulating. So, the lights look good, and I did stretch them. Okay, see, this is what's wrong with the lights. They need sub D put on them. See how they're shaped like weird like that? Okay, would you like to cancel this render? That's why you render things big, like at 4 or 8,000, so you can see stuff like that. Okay, so close this. We got to select and I think it's really weird how sub D works when you add it to things. The string light, okay, these are all instances, so you have to add the sub D to the main instance. Okay, so I'm going to save this even though I just saved it. So because when you put sub D on things, sometimes it can totally wreck them. Yeah, they look fine from a distance, but they just that's why you have to render it very large so that you can notice things up close. I have some really funky disco. I could have like really kind of funked him out instead of the suit or the, you know, I could have given him, you know, checkered pants and, you know, really done some fun stuff with him. But I do have some disco clothes. And all right, so we have this selected. We go to Edit, Object, Geometry, Convert to sub D. And guess what? I think it worked. Because it didn't totally mess up my... Let's say they look like they're supposed to. The only way to really tell is to zoom in. And we'll zoom in when we do a render. But it didn't ruin them. I might have to up the sub D on them a little. I don't think I'll need to. But we'll see. We shall see. So I am going to cook something for dinner. I haven't decided what I'm going to have yet. Okay, let's see what happens now. You do one strand. That's weird about sub D is that even if they're not instances, if you have two similar items, like the same table in the scene, they're not instances. They're just the same item. And Daz will put the sub D on all of them. It won't even ask you. Now, I stretched these lights, and that's why I kind of looked at them immediately and looked at what they looked like, because I kind of stretched them up a little bit. And also the wires now, they may have had like kind of some funky little bends in them. Now they look smooth. These are fine for, they look okay to my eyes now. So Christmas lights are these kind of like stage lights, or these kind, they're a lot of times they're very different. Now, okay, I see something with his eyes that they're not quite in the sockets right. So we got to fix that. You notice this little hole? You can see into his thoughts. Yeah, so we got to fix that. All we just got to do is kind of move them over so that they cover that slot. And so the hole will be on this side rather than that side. So let's go to perspective view. And we'll go out of Iray. And we go over here. Let's go in here like that. You can see these gigantic. Yeah, see how you learn to see these things. I'm just going to pull them both over. Okay, let's see what they look like here. And we're going to push this one in. This light, that one just didn't pull over as easy as the other eye did. All right, let's go back to our camera view and see what if he looks like he's looking at us kind of again. All right, save this again. Now, I cheated, okay, because what I maybe should have done was like expanded the eye so it fit in the socket. So if you were to look around the other angle, his eyes would be, you'd see a big gigantic slot on the other side. But you can't see that now. And what I would have had to do was like expand his eyes, then use the VinMe, I guess, VinMe morph and shrink the irises and the whole center part of his eye. But because but by just moving them over like that and hiding that slot, I don't have to shrink the eyeball, and it gives you the illusion that the iris, that the white part, I can't remember, lacrimose or lacrim, okay, that part goes all the way over. That's so I guess really all you need to do is make sure it doesn't look like he has a big hole in his eye. And now they look okay. So they don't look like, it's kind of hard to tell until it reticulates a little more. And I looked up the word reticulate because that's the word I like to use to mean that the dots are all kind of getting finer and finer. And what that means is to create a network. And that's kind of what they do is they, instead of the dots being, because I made that word up myself. I'd never heard anybody use it regarding rendering, and these dots kind of going away and getting finer and finer the more it renders. But when you think about the dots, they get smaller, but they build a matrix, like a network. And so I think reticulation is a good word for that. Now his eyes, they do look kind of like a little weird off, but not really. They work. So I'm going to leave them. So, and I thought his hair had some problems with his scalp maybe, but I don't see any problem with that either. And his skin color looks good. His fingers aren't going through the this, and this finger's kind of pointing out, which is it's okay. That's cool. So that works. So yeah, it'd be terrible to get electrocuted by these lights though, because there's so many of them. It would just like be one big, talk about reticulation. That would be like a network of so. But, you know, I'm just being kind of funny. He doesn't really have a pocket to put a pocket watch, you know, like a chain. There's nothing to really kind of, I guess it could just come out here and hang down and go back in. Kind of thing, but it's okay. I just thought a chain would be nice. I'm wondering if I should have had the glasses on him, but his eyes are really nice. His eyebrows match his hair color. Very important. So yeah, we got I think he's doesn't wear socks, but that's okay. He didn't have him washed. And it looks like his feet are okay. They're not going through the floor. And everything else is pretty much, now we go down all the way down to the bottom. Let's see what our lights look like. Yeah, they don't seem to be anything seriously off about them. So that's good. So it's all just a matter of letting it render. We're at 330 now. So, all right, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you, Art, Angus, and We had Habib here. Anus was here. And is there anybody else who was here? Thank you for the likes. We got 9 likes. It's like all 9 people who came here left a like. How nice of you. At least most of them. And if you didn't, that's okay. Some people just don't know how to get to that part of their phone or their and leave likes. It's okay. But if you can, leave one, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. And I hope you learned something about Gobos today, because it would seem that the best way to do it, to get multicolored VDB, is to mix and match them, okay? And to give them that top number in the surface is how you give them. So just find the right sized ones and then mix them together. If you want colored smoke, okay, then that's the way to do it. Now, projecting onto them is not nearly. Thank you, Angus, for wishing everybody, and thanks for the thank you for sharing. It's very, very nice of you to do that, my friend. It's very nice to be. You are one of the kindest, if not the kindest person that I've ever met as a friend. And thank you very much, Angus, for being here, and all of the other people. Art, you're wonderful. It's nice to have you here. Yes, and Habib, that was it. Thank you for looking back. Art, you are a godsend, my friend. You helped me very, very much to, I believe it was, you have to that's what I have to do, is look back and thank everybody in the chat. And so we had Habib here, yes. And very, very, very nice. And thank you, Art, for all the suggestions. The mirror ball, we wouldn't have a mirror ball in this scene if it wasn't for you, Art. You are awesome. It's good. It's good having people who enjoy this whole Daz experience. Okay, and what we're doing here, the Daz Studio 3D art. It's got the beautiful rendering engine. It's got everything we kind of need. I love working with these VDBs, and what we did today with this VDB brought my knowledge further with just wanting to make these beautiful VDBs. All we had to do was put 3 of them in and give them different colors and move them and splay them into different areas of the scene, and look what we were able to do. So I hope this was all good. Working with Gobos and projecting them into the scene is another way to take a VDB and give it really kind of a very, and you saw what happened when we projected that color onto those VDBs. Something really incredibly magic happened to the VDB. So it's the projection thing seems to be more than what we have here, because what we have here are kind of like big blobs of color, where the projection gave it an completely, almost looked like a calico kind of, or variegated cat hair, or like hair with different variegations of color. It gave the VDB really deep swirls of color and texture. So it's an all of the above thing. I just wanted to tie this all together and say this is what this is about. It's about an all of the above, about taking all of the different abilities of using the overlays or the lace patterns, and using the gel and creating the glass the glass layer and then putting a picture there instead of the glass. That's what we did. So today, just it's all fun stuff. It's all in this video. Study it, and you will learn all the different things about lighting and about and one thing we didn't do was try that you can take a plane, okay, and you can put that just, this is worth mentioning. So this is kind of like the last horizon of, and you take a plane or a sphere and you put the you put a color, you wrap a color around the sphere, but you make the sphere invisible. Like you can take, there's a new thing that you can do with planes, is you can make them an emission, so they emit rays of color, and it works very well within VDBs. And you plant them into the VDB, and they emit the color that's on the surface into your VDB. So it's like there's a lot of options to color VDBs, and they're all really just depending on what kind of effect you want. So that's gonna do it. We're gonna play some polka. This is gonna be me signing out for now. Thank you, Art, Angus, and yes, Habib and Noose. This is Rex saying so long for now, and thank you for the likes. We got 10 likes. You people are awesome, awesome, awesome. I will see you again. Please click the bell for notifications. You're probably not here unless you've already had clicked it, and so thank you. I hope this enriches your... Thanks for the hearts. That's very nice. Thank you for the love. And the 100%, the hundreds, awesome, 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 awesome. I hope this enriches your knowledge, your ability with Daz Studio. That's what this is about. We'll do some more of this stuff with VDBs and coloring VDBs and all. And I love this pink in here. This is going to reticulate really nice. It's gonna have to render up into, we're at already 1,000. This is probably, I'm gonna take this probably up to about 6,000 iterations. So, and we now have Daz. I think it looks crystal like sharp now. The Daz, my stream looks like crystal clear now. So we're evolving here. And that was Sigmund's theme. You have a good memory. Say hi, say hi to everybody. Hi. Oh, that was Sigmund. Yes, that was his theme. He was out there doing the polka while we were playing it. So he just came in to say hi. So, all right. I will see you all again soon. This is Rex Red saying so long for now. And thanks for hanging out with me. And this was so fun, so much fun. I just imagine doing this all alone. This wouldn't, having you all here and doing this is so much fun. So, all right, take care. Thanks to YouTube for letting me leave such huge videos. This is another 4-hour video. We've been 3 hours and 40 minutes. Thank you again. Goodbye to you all. Take care. Have a lovely rest of your day. Yes, it is. It's boring doing it alone. And so having you all here, being able to showcase and say, hey, look at this product, look at that product. And, it helps you make wise decisions on purchasing things too. Okay. So that the sickle yield VDBs, they're a definite buy. You saw how awesome this spindly fog was, how I was able to just make 3 colors, rotate them, and you can resize them. You can do all kinds of stuff. And then look how beautifully they just all mix together. And I love how the fog is reflecting. Oh, let's see, Danaki. I'm not sure how to say your name. I hope I didn't say it wrong. But welcome, welcome, welcome. I think it would be Danaki Tai. Thank you for coming. Thank you for hanging out. And next time, please come in and talk. You're welcome to come in and talk about things, ask questions, and be part of the chat. Okay, you are welcome here. Okay, so just that's all we're here is to contribute together to some fun stuff, fun art, and to learn together. So it's all about us all being part of the same community here on YouTube. And I want to just thank YouTube for hosting this video, or allowing us to put this video on YouTube. And they are really nice about sharing my videos. So you take care. I hope I didn't say your name wrong, but thank you very much. And please, next, if you come back in, please, make sure you click the bell for notifications, and make sure you click on all notifications, and then we'd love to see you back here again. Okay? Take care. Good night. I'm going to go get some English muffins, and maybe I'm going to fry up some pork chops and put them on English muffins. I don't know if that sounds like a good dinner, but we're going to toast some muffins and make some pork sandwiches, maybe a little cup of beef stew or something. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Take care. Thanks again.